Hello everybody, welcome back to Norwich Talk for another match preview. Tomorrow, Norwich City should be facing Burnley at Turf Moor, a game that is being shown on Sky Sports. That's how I shall be watching it. Kudos to those who will be making the long trip. It is a game that I think is big for Norwich City. We seem to be saying that every week about the games that Norwich play, but it's good opposition tomorrow in this league. It's a really tough test, and Burnley have had a fairly solid start. They do seem to keep drawing games, but with the signings they've made, with the calibre of manager they have from his playing days, more so than his managerial career so far in Vincent Kompany, everything suggests that this is going to be Norwich's toughest test so far this season. And I think it will be a good sort of mark for Dean Smith's progress and how his Norwich City have developed, in terms of sort of recovering from that relegation hangover, if you will, and generally just sort of the past almost year, really. I think it's now, 10 months, 9 months, Dean Smith has been in charge of Norwich City, some of that, more of that being in the Premier League than in the Championship. But tomorrow, with this fresher Norwich City squad, against very good opposition, both teams had a very good start to the season. Norwich City have won 4 or 5 on the bounce now. Tomorrow is a big one, and I think it will be one where, I don't know if it's a risky thing to say or not, but I think universally within the Norwich City fandom, I do believe it will be a game where we will all be judging sort of Dean Smith and Norwich City, and not basing the outcome to be for this season, but we'll look at it as a real marker and a real sort of indication as to how this season, maybe the next few months at least, will go. That said, I reckon we get straight into the lineup and then we'll go back to waffling about the game at the end. My back line, as usual: Tim Krul, Max Aarons, Grant Hanley, Big Andy and Sam Byram make up my back line. Against Millwall, I thought they were pretty good, pretty solid. There was, I think, 2 chances that Millwall had. One where they definitely should have scored. Not Millwall, why do I keep saying Millwall? Coventry, dearie me, what a terrible start. Coventry should have scored. But at the same time, every team concedes chances, really, don't they? And let's think of the context. This is Norwich City, who have gone from just being battered every week to now being somewhat kind of solid. There are clumsy mistakes to be ironed out. I'm going to maintain the faith that they will be. I do genuinely, and this is a classic sort of Kyle Lafferty syndrome comment to make, but I do genuinely believe someone like Isaac Hayden and the role more so than the individual. I do think Norwich's sort of defensive frailties could hinge on bringing someone like that into the team and having that shield in front. We've made that point time and time again. In front of that back line, last video I went for like a 4-2-2. I'm going to revert back to the 4-3-3 because I'm kind of happy with it. There is a bit of a rejig in my system. I'm going for Kenny McLean, Marcelino Nunez and Gabriel Sara. They're my midfield 3. And I'm just thinking on the spot whether I should... No, do you know what? We'll talk about midfield 3 before I get the front 3 involved. In terms of that midfield 3, Nunez, very exciting, very good, very raw. I think it's fair to say that talent is very raw. I was having a good conversation with Connor and Sam the other day, I think on the way back from a Durham game, where we just kind of discussed the idea that, yeah, maybe he does overcomplicate it a little bit at times. But for me, I love it. I think Norwich City have been crying out for it. I say it week after week. His ability to switch the play, which sometimes it doesn't go well, but I think for the most part it does, is really important to Norwich sort of being able to get out of their own half and progress the game in a different manner to what, for example, a Daniel Farke side would have, a prime Daniel Farke side would have. Gabriel Sara comes in. McLean's in there, by the way, just because he's Kenny McLean. He runs and runs and runs, and especially for an away game where maybe Norwich won't dominate the ball, that's going to be pivotal. This is the exact kind of game where I wish we had Isaac Hayden, where maybe Norwich won't dominate possession and we'll have to sort of have a bit more structure. Hayden would be important. He'd be that sort of piece of glue that holds everything together. Norwich don't really have that at the moment. Kenny McLean will have to do his very best, which doesn't fill me with the most confidence, to be honest with you. But to his right, I'm going with Gabriel Sara. Again, he's a player who we haven't really seen much of. He's not a player where, we can pick out qualities of his and be like, this is why he has to start. It's more so because of a rejig in terms of other personnel on the team, and there's a bit of hype around him. So until he either soars or flops, let's sort of have faith in it, have faith in the signing. So I'd like to see him start. It'd be a massive game for him to start. It'll be a footballing game, I do think. Maybe it's naive to say that, and I think maybe that'll suit him. Let's see how many times I can say I think in a minute. Don't make that a drinking game because you will die of alcohol poisoning. My attacking three sort of is led by Teemu Pukki, Josh Sargent on the right and Aaron Ramsey on the left. Now, last game Todd Camwell started out on that sort of left wing position. Didn't have a good game. And for me, I don't know, I'm in a bit of a weird place with Todd Camwell because we've seen flashes of brilliance. We saw it against Coventry for the pass to Sargent, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what? I find it difficult to justify putting him in every week. I think I'm not writing him off, not at all, but I'd like to see Aaron Ramsey, who I thought had a brilliant game against Coventry. I kind of watched that game and thought, right, that's what you do, which is he'll sort of drop into a pocket of space, carry the ball and progress it nicely. And I think he was very consistent. His squared ball to Sargent when he could have taken the shot on because the goalie made sort of a weird move, clearly shows that he has the instinct to sort of create a goal, which is a really good thing. And in the last game, he was kind of in that midfield three, but let's push him forward and say, Aaron, don't you worry about defensive duties. Get out there, be creative, run around, and maybe just give Cantwell a little kick up the backside, a little reminder, look, there is competition and you're going to have to give it 110% every week. Not that he doesn't, but you know what I mean, the element of competition in football and other players bringing out the best in each other. Josh Sargent from the right, wasn't particularly excited ahead of the Coventry game because I kind of thought, he's established himself as a number 9, as a central player and scored goals, but he got himself into a good position. And Teemu Pukki up front, let's talk about him as well, brought out his creative side in terms of creating that goal for Sargent. And I just think with those two, I think between them there could be 35 goals between them this season, and that's going to be pivotal to Norwich City entertaining the fans but also getting back into the Premier League. I do think there is a formula to be struck there, which, fingers crossed it can be. From that one game we've seen so far, positive, but the scale, the enormity of the challenge is so much bigger than Coventry. No offence to Coventry fans. At the bottom of the table, Burnley probably favourites to go back up alongside Norwich. The scale of the challenge is a lot larger. But they're my thoughts on the team. I'd love to know yours in the comments down below. I think I'll probably take a point from this, but what I would like to see from this game is I'm not too fussed if we lose. But what I want to see is I want to see Norwich going toe-to-toe with Burnley. I want to watch that game and think, Norwich look competitive. Because so far what we've seen from Norwich is, look, they can create chances, they can play really beautiful football, but equally, they're as clumsy as they always have been. There are frailties there to be exploited, and teams with more quality will do so. I think the recipe is there for Dean Smith to cook with, to bake with, whatever you prefer doing, for success. Milot Rashica has finally gone. See you later, Milot. One of the worst players to ever play for Norwich City. I put far too much faith in him this season. I put far too much faith in him when he signed. Good Lord. Good luck in Turkey, Milot. Ugh, terrible spending of £9 million. But yes, I think that's everything for this video. If tomorrow goes ahead and maybe result dependent, we'll probably do a video, maybe a stream next week. Might be doing one tomorrow. I'm not sure. I can promise you match reviews, previews and shorter videos. Streams I need to work out with the old schedule. But, if you want to join, brilliant. See you there. If you don't, fair enough, totally understandable. That's all for this video. Thumbs up would be appreciated. Subscribe if you're new and you fancy it. go on, ding that little bell so you know every time we upload previews, reviews, podcasts, transfer videos. We do the lot here. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you again very, very soon.